widespread criticism. Details of this will come to you shortly. Do stay with us. And now the news in full. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will depart Abuja on Wednesday for Paris, France on a private visa en route to Addis Ababa, the Ethiopian capital. Bayo Onanuga, special advisor to the President, Information and Strategy, in a statement said that in Addis Ababa, President Tinubu will join African leaders at the 46th Ordinary Session of the Executive Council and the 38th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of the AU Heads of State, scheduled from February 12 to 16, 2025. Onanuga said the President will arrive in Addis Ababa early next week for the African Union Summit. While in France, President Tinubu will meet with his French counterpart, President Emmanuel Macron. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu is seeking approval to increase the 2025 budget from 49.7 trillion naira, which he presented at the joint session of the National Assembly on December 18, 2024, to 54.2 trillion naira. Tinubu, according to the request read by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio on Wednesday in Abuja, explained that the increase arose from 1.4 trillion naira additional revenues made by the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS), 1.2 trillion naira made by the Nigeria Customs Service, 1.8 trillion naira generated by some other government-owned agencies.
The 2025 appropriation bill's total budget will increase from 49.7 billion to 54.2 trillion naira, demonstrating our commitment to inclusive growth and security. Of course, the letter had proposed allocation of the additional revenue, all embedded here, and then justifications for the allocations. The solid mineral sector will have about 1 trillion naira. The Bank of Agriculture recapitalization will have about 1.5.
The Nigerian Senate has threatened to issue a warrant of arrest on some critical revenue-generating agencies of government, undermining its to answer queries raised by the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation with regards to financial transactions. Correspondent Kulojo completes the story.
Senate Committee on Public Accounts, chaired by Senator Aliyu Ahmed Wadada, speaking at a press conference in Abuja, expressed shock regarding how some billions of naira left government coffers, which the affected agencies should account for in line with legislative provisions that empowers the parliament to investigate. Wadada said Auditor General's report, which was humbly submitted to the committee on hearth rot in some agencies of government, that it takes only an irresponsible parliament to conduct public investigations. He was appalled at how these agencies conspire together and have taken decision not to honor invitations by the Senate committee.
And from today, after this press briefing, whoever information is extended to, and he or she refuses to appear before this all-important committee, warrant of arrest will be issued. We will call on the president to disengage that person, because the person does not share in the dreams of the president to and for making Nigeria a better place.
In another development, the Senate has pardoned the project coordinator of the hydrocarbon pollution remediation project, Professor Nene Barini Zabe, after its deliberation, and allow him to face the Senate Committee on Public Accounts. Appearing before the committee, Professor Zabe explained his absence was due to his participation in COP30 and other pressing commitments related to his official duties. Responding, Senator Abdullahi Ningi and other committee members accepted his apology, acknowledging the of the issue, but stressed the need to allow progress for the good of the nation.
for not appearing some time ago. The first time we were invited, of course we got the invite late, but I rushed down. It was my first time in the Senate.
We took very, very painful decision to do what we did as a committee because of the sensitivity of your organization as far as the Nigerian project is concerned. You may not believe it. You don't need to be from Niger Delta or from Ogoni to understand flight, the suffering, human degradation.
Recall that the Senate had threatened to issue a warrant of arrest against Professor Zabi, failing to appear before the committee to provide updates on the progress of the Ogoniland clean-up. From Abuja, Kunle Ojo, Galaxy TV.
As regards to the reemergence of Ebola outbreak in Africa, we have Dr. Sheyin Madaki, the former NMA chairman, Kaduna State Chapter, who joins us live via Zoom. Thank you so much for being a part of the news at this time.
Thank you.
All right, so how would you react to the recent report of an outbreak of Ebola and Lassa fever?
Well, I think for Lassa fever, it's an annual thing. I think it's endemic in Nigeria and many West African countries, really. So it's not surprising. We usually have a peak of it from December to April. So we're having that wave right now currently. So for Ebola, a case was reported, I think, on the 30th of January this year in Uganda, and the index case was found to be a nurse who manifested symptoms of viral hemorrhagic fever and later died. So postmortem found the case of Ebola, but since then, no any other case has been reported. So there's really ongoing surveillance, close contact tracings, monitoring to ensure that it is contained. So thankfully that has happened for now. Yeah.
All right. Do you think Nigeria is better equipped as a country to control the outbreak of this disease, looking at how the nation has been able to curb the outbreak when it earlier came in? Do you think we are still or are right now equipped to control the outbreak?
Yes, I think we are, and really Nigeria has shown capacity even from the last outbreak of Ebola. We must give it to the Nigerian resilience, and even despite our many challenges, we've shown capacity to be able to handle that such outbreaks. And even for the Lassa fever, I think we're not doing bad. Currently, with the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, all the measures that have been taken in, having those treatment centers, specialized treatment centers, infrastructures for prompt diagnosis and treatment. I think we're capable, we have the capacity to do that, but not without the challenges the health sector is facing. So if you have reemergence of these diseases, it's going to be more strain on the already weak health system that we have. So the capacity is there, but the challenges also are there.
All right, so as a medical doctor, what would you advise must be done to avoid future occurrences of these diseases now down to Nigeria?
In fact, what we should do is it's what we've always been, and that includes strengthening of the health infrastructure, building capacity, and what have you. One of the challenges that we've been having in terms of this, such emerging diseases or re-emerging diseases a strain on the resources. You know, resources, when I talk about resources, I talk about funding. I also talk about the human resource for health. You know, already we have so few health workers. The few we have, we cannot retain them. So you train people today, by months to come, are looking for ways to migrate outside the shores of this country, because the working conditions already are poor. And then, of course, the infrastructures themselves, although we've done well in terms of management of fever and even Ebola in the past, not without the support of the WHO as it is. So what we need to do is to keep funding, increase the health, human resource for health, talking about retaining even the few we have, and also being able to attract people to actually come and join forces with us, because we cannot afford another major outbreak, really. You know, so that is it. And then also ongoing education of the public awareness campaigns that also have been going on. But you find out that a lot of people will either don't pay attention, or they have not really, you know, adhered to some of these measures that have been reeled out as public awareness campaigns. You hear them everywhere, on radio, on TV, the newspapers, and what you need to do and what you shouldn't do and all that. But generally, people have not internalized that. So we need to also keep that going as much as possible. And then, of course, collaborations in terms of with other agencies, whether within the country or outside, in terms of research, trying to find, develop vaccines that can prevent these diseases. Ebola, for instance, I think there is progress in terms of the development of the vaccine. And there is recently we read that in Uganda, in the same Uganda, there was some, you know, we had made some gains in terms of that. But for Lassa, it's still very far getting any vaccine to prevent it. So if we can invest in such places, I think it will go a long way to help in the long run.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much for your time and for being part of the news at this time. We do really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
And that was Dr. Shayin Madaki, the former NRA chairman, Kaduna State Chapter. Now to move on to the rest of the stories. The management of Kaduna Electric has denied the sack of 900 workers, an allegation that led an ongoing strike by electricity workers, plunging Kaduna State into total blackout. The industrial action, which Day 3, has left the entire Kaduna metropolis and its environment in darkness, forcing businesses and traders to rely on costly alternative power sources. In a statement by Kaduna Electric Corporate Affairs Head Abdullahi Abdulaziz said the company's management clarified that the industrial action was linked to a staff restructuring initiative, recent speculation which will affect about 400 and not 900 as earlier alleged. The company explained that the decision was necessary due to significant operational and financial challenges affecting its ability to meet market and operational obligations. You're still on to Galaxy News. We'll quickly take a break, and when we return, the news continues. Just stay with us. We're glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/TV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live update and comment, as you can easily scan our IG QR code. Management Authority LASMA condemned the recklessness of a fully loaded trailer driver whose overspeeding and subsequent loss of control resulted in a devastating accident at the Ojodu axis of Lagos. Preliminary investigation revealed that the ill-fated trailer bearing Bauchi State registration number came from Agidinigbi by Oba Ogunji Road en route to Omole Junction in the Oba corridor when the driver, operating at an alarmingly high speed, lost control and resulted in a catastrophic collision. The sheer impact of the crash inflicted severe trauma on the LASMA officer, leading to a grievous fracture of his right leg and hand. Upon emergency medical assessment at the Surgical Emergency Center of the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital LASUTH, attending specialists determined that the extent of the injuries necessitated an immediate amputation of his right leg. In a brazen attempt to evade justice, the culpable trailer driver absconded from the scene. However, through the concerted effort of security operatives from Ojodu Police Station in collaboration with vigilant LASMA officials, he was swiftly apprehended. The Nigeria Defense Academy on Wednesday planted 500 trees as part of activities to celebrate 61 years of existence. The commandant of the academy, Major General John Ochai, said this is part of their contribution to environmental conservation by establishing the largest man-made biodiversity conservation center in Nigeria, which will be achieved within the next decade. Major General John Ochai, in his address, said the tree planting campaign will help in providing history for the event, as trees will grow and be beneficial to the community. Professor Berian Umumere, Director NDA Biodiversity Conservation Center, says the human activities have long taken a toll on the environment, leading to desert encroachment, flooding, and the extinction of vital habitat. If left unchecked, these activities will continue to wreak havoc on the ecosystem, and that is why the NDA is leading the fight against climate change and providing avenue for research, he said.
Marking that we plant trees. The trees we are going to plant this morning will grow. It will signify today's event. Today's event will not be lost in history. Some will say this is the peak of the dry season, that the trees we are planting today may not survive. However, that lies the challenge. In the Nigerian Defense Academy, we train cadets to become officers who solve problems. So, the challenge of ensuring that the trees we plant today will all live until rain commences will be accomplished.
If I had known that these resources are in this reserve, I would have been less prodigal in my use of explosives. So that tells you that what values are in the forests and the way people are using them. So we are happy at that.
Last year we established the Biodiversity and Conservation Center, and it's aimed at enhancing knowledge and education. It's also aimed at building capacity for environmental sustainability. It's also aimed at aligning the institution with global practices of care for the environment.
And I'll move over to the foreign desk for more news.
This is news from the international scene. U.S. President Donald Trump's plan for the U.S. to take over war-torn Gaza and create a Riviera of the Middle East after resettling Palestine elsewhere has shattered U.S. policy on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and sparked widespread criticism. The shock move from Trump, a former New York property developer, was swiftly condemned by international powers, with regional heavyweight Saudi Arabia, which Trump's hope will establish ties with Israel, rejecting the plan outright. Turkey called the proposal unacceptable, and France said it risks destabilizing the Middle East. Countries from Russia, China, Germany, Spain, Ireland and UK said they continue to support the two-state solution that has formed the basis of Washington's policy in the region for decades, which is that Gaza would be part of a future Palestinian state that includes the occupied West Bank. Trump, in his first major Middle East policy announcement, said he envisioned building a resort where international community could live in harmony after over 15 months of Israeli bombardment, which devastated the tiny coastal enclave and killed more than 47,000 people by Palestinian tallies. Trump's son-in-law and former aide, Jared Kushner, last year described Gaza as valuable waterfront property.